Home Alone is easily one of the most iconic Christmas and kid movies ever. Even though it got mixed reviews at first, people have come to love it for the cast, humor, and music. The movie made a whopping $476.7 million worldwide, becoming the second highest grossing film of 1990 and turning Macaulay Culkin into a child star. It also held the title of the highest grossing live-action comedy for 20 years. Home Alone was even nominated for 2 Academy Awards and 2 Golden Globes, and it's now considered one of the best Christmas movies out there. In 2023, it was added to the National Film Registry for being culturally and historically significant. The sequel, Home Alone 2: Lost in New York, came out in 1992. Home Alone 2 made over $359 million worldwide, making it the third highest grossing film of 1992. It's the only Home Alone sequel to bring back most of the original cast. Devin Rattray, who played Buzz McCallister, returned for the 6th movie in the series, Home Sweet Home Alone. The third movie in the franchise, which I don't really count as the third, was a big disappointment. Home Alone 3 didn't quite hit the mark without Macaulay Culkin. Alex just wasn't a good replacement for Kevin, and it's pretty clear the movie would have done much better if Culkin had returned. Unfortunately, without Kevin, the third installment just didn't connect with audiences. It only made around $80 million according to Box Office Mojo, which is a huge drop compared to Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. A big part of that $279 million difference comes down to the cast. Not only was Culkin missing, but so were Joe Pesci and the other original actors. Without those familiar faces or any real tie to the original, Home Alone 3 was bound to get a lukewarm response. That's probably why there are rumors now about a reboot with Macaulay Culkin returning. Even though he was the star of the first 2 Home Alone movies as Kevin McCallister, Culkin left the series after 1992's Home Alone 2. Over 30 years later, fans are still wondering why Kevin wasn't in Home Alone 3. The first movie had Kevin accidentally left behind when his family went on a Christmas vacation, leading him to defend his home from the wet bandits. The sequel followed a similar idea, but this time Kevin faced the wet bandits in New York City. Both Home Alone movies have become Christmas staples, watched by millions of families every year. Home Alone 2 is often considered even more beloved than the original, and the franchise seemed to be on the rise. However, Macaulay Culkin didn't return for another sequel, which surprised many fans. In 1997, Home Alone 3 was released, but it featured a new family and kid, Alex Pruitt, played by Alex D. Linz. It didn't come close to matching the success of the first 2, with many pointing to the absence of Kevin as the reason it fell flat. By that time, Culkin had moved on from acting after his early stardom. So why did Macaulay Culkin leave the Home Alone franchise? Well, Kevin wasn't in Home Alone 3 because Culkin had actually retired from acting at the time. There were a few different ideas floating around for a third Home Alone movie with him in it. At one point, there were plans to film Home Alone 3 at the same time as Home Alone 2, but that never happened. According to Uproxx, later there was even a script developed where Kevin would be a teenager, but that also didn't move forward. A Home Alone 3 with Kevin McCallister didn't happen for one big reason: Macaulay Culkin retired. He had an incredible movie career, starring not only in the Home Alone films, but also in hits like My Girl, Richie Rich, and Uncle Buck, making him one of the biggest rising stars of the time. However, all of that came to a sudden stop in 1994, when Culkin decided to retire, although it was only temporary. Macaulay Culkin stepped away from acting to focus on hobbies like painting and writing, and this decision had a major impact on the future of the Home Alone franchise. Though he hasn't returned to the role since 1992, the 2021 release, Home Sweet Home Alone, gives a small nod to what happened to Kevin McCallister. In the 6th movie of the series, and the 4th without Culkin, there's an Easter egg suggesting Kevin became a home security expert. A sign on the young protagonist Max's house reads, "Protected by McCallister Home Security," hinting that Kevin even started his own business. We'll come back to this Easter egg and discuss how this could turn into a movie, but first, let's discuss what has happened with Kevin now in the franchise. In the first movie, the McCallister family is getting ready for Christmas in Paris, gathering at Kate and Peter's home in a Chicago suburb. Their youngest son, Kevin, feels bullied by his siblings and cousins, especially after a dinner fight with his older brother Buzz, leading to him being sent to the attic. Upset, he wishes his family would disappear. A power outage causes the family to oversleep, and in the rush to leave for the airport, they accidentally leave Kevin behind. Initially thrilled by his newfound freedom, he quickly becomes frightened of his mysterious neighbor, Old Man Marley, rumored to be dangerous. Meanwhile, two burglars, Harry and Marv, the wet bandits, target the McCallister home, thinking it's empty. Kevin tricks them into believing his family is still home, buying himself time. As Kate realizes Kevin is missing and struggles to return from Paris with the help of Gus Polinski, the band leader, Harry and Marv plan their robbery for Christmas Eve. Kevin ingeniously sets up booby traps to defend his home, injuring the burglars along the way. Just as they corner him, Old Man Marley intervenes, knocking them out. The police arrest the wet bandits, and on Christmas morning, Kevin joyfully reunites with his family, witnessing Marley reconcile with his estranged son. In the second movie, the McCallister family plans to spend Christmas in Miami, but Kevin feels the tropical climate lacks the holiday spirit. After an embarrassing incident at a school pageant, he wishes for a vacation alone. In the airport chaos, he accidentally boards a flight to New York, checks into the Plaza Hotel using his father's credit card, and encounters his old foes, the Wet Bandits, now the Sticky Bandits. On Christmas Eve, he visits Mr. Duncan's toy store, donating to a children's hospital and receiving ceramic turtle doves. After narrowly escaping the bandits, Kevin seeks refuge in his uncle's empty townhouse, befriends a pigeon lady, and sets traps to stop the Sticky Bandits from robbing the toy store. With the pigeon lady's help, he alerts the police, foiling their plans. The McCallisters reunite, and on Christmas morning, they receive gifts from Mr. Duncan. Kevin gives one turtle dove to the pigeon lady, symbolizing their friendship, and that was the last of Kevin we saw on the screen. Now, the new Home Alone movie with Macaulay Culkin could take a fun spin by focusing on McCallister home security Easter egg. Imagine a modern adventure that mixes nostalgia with some current themes. I see this movie taking place years after the original Home Alone films. We could find Kevin McCallister all grown up and running his own home security company, McCallister Home Security. He's turned his childhood experiences into a savvy business that helps protect families from modern threats. The film would have plenty of laughs and clever traps, bringing back the spirit of his younger days. The story is most likely going to be set during the holiday season in a suburban neighborhood where Kevin's company is booming. With the festive period bringing worries about home invasions and theft, families could turn to Kevin for safety. But just when things seem to be going well, a tech-savvy group of thieves comes into play. They would target homes that use Kevin's security systems, thinking they can outsmart the tech. I find this plot, or plots similar to this one, to be most appropriate for a movie with Kevin's return. But end of the day, I am just a fan that made up this hypothetical plot. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel to get updated regularly with the latest update. Thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you at the next one.